What is up, everybody? Chris Hendrickson here with a really interesting article that I think I found on Facebook. I'm not sure how I found it, but the article is a few years old. Well, the report is about 5 years old, but I think it's really interesting. So I'm going to share with you today. So the journal or the magazine Just Something published this article. Says Ohio judge tired of animal abusers decides to give them a taste of their own medicine. So here's the judge right here, is a chained up dog, and it reads, the law exists to protect liberties and rights. What most people forget is that the law not only protects human rights, but also serves to protect animal rights. That's why it's disheartening to hear stories of animal abuse, especially when the abusers get away without any form of punishment. But one judge decided that there won't be any of that in his city of Painesville, Ohio. So, Municipal Court Judge Michael Cicconetti was tired of animal abusers having little to no punishment. And this is Judge Cicconetti right here. Since sentences are made to encourage and enforce lawful behavior, he gives out unusual sentences to teach abusers valuable lessons they will never forget. Judge Cicconetti's advocacy for animal rights is rooted from his love for animals. He fell in love with animals when he got his first dog, a Dashet Hound mix named Herman. From there, his love for animals grew, and now he has a 10-year-old Bernese mountain dog named Cassie. So there's Cassie and Judge Cicconetti in a golf cart right there. So reading through the article, it says, as an upstanding member of the legal profession, Judge Cicconetti doesn't give out dangerous or unlawful punishments, but he isn't beyond giving offenders a little discomfort and embarrassment either. Take this one case where a woman abandoned 35 kittens in the woods. To help the offender realize the gravity of her actions, the judge sentenced her to spend a night in the woods by herself. During the hearing, he told her, quote, how would you like to be dumped off at a metro park late at night, spending the night listening to coyotes, listening to the raccoons around you in the dark night, and sit out there in the cold, not knowing where you're going to get your next meal, not knowing when you're going to be rescued? So presumably this is a picture of the woman carrying out her sentencing. In another case, a woman was found guilty after her dog was found living in total filth. Judge Cicconetti let her have a taste of her own medicine, sentencing her to spend a day at a filthy, smelly dump. The judge said at the hearing, quote, I want you to go down to the county dump, to the landfill. I want you to find the stinkiest, smelliest, god-awful odor place they can find in that dump, and I want you to sit there for 8 hours tomorrow to think about what you did to that dog while you smell the odor. If you puke, you puke. Continuing down, last September, a law that makes abuse to an animal companion a felony went into effect. This law, called Goddard's Law, was a huge step for animal rights advocates. Other than punishing offenders, Judge Cicconetti hopes that his headline-worthy sentences spread awareness about the crime of animal abuse and its consequences. This animal-loving judge never planned on making these unusual sentences. He just started creating them when he noticed that jail wasn't effective in making the abusers realize the gravity of their crime. So he decided to take on an unconventional method of making these offenders turn from their ways. The judge also makes sure that the sentences he gives out are fit for the crimes that were committed. He waits until all the details of the case are heard before he carefully doles out sentences. Advocating for long-term solutions to this problem, Judge Cicconetti raised the need for education to be available to offenders. He told I Heart Dogs that if drunk drivers and child neglectors take mandatory courses as a part of their sentences, animal abusers should too. The judge also hopes that mandatory mental evaluations will be made for those held responsible for these sorts of crimes, like having a registry for sex offenders where there's also should be a registry for animal abusers. This allows shelters to verify potential adopters. And he actually made the news at ABC5 over in Ohio. They did a whole story about his sentencing. And now, while you can have your opinions on whether or not the punishment fits the crime on here. Let me know in the comments if you think this judge is in the right for doing this. Let me know if you think he's out of line. I'd love to hear your point of view. This was from 5 years ago, and the state of Ohio has plenty of laws regarding offenses relating to domestic animals, from abandoning animals to injuring animals to poisoning animals, drugging animals prior to competition, destruction of domestic animals, cruelty to animals, and it's outlined very clearly here. So you can scroll through here. I'll have the link in the description if you are interested in the animal cruelty laws of Ohio. And just recently, they actually passed a law in Ohio to ban puppy mills, or to ban the sale of dogs from puppy mills as well as part of Stop Puppy Mills Ohio. It was a ballot measure campaign that didn't actually go to the ballot. They compromised on an agreement, and it got signed into law. So it's pretty exciting, and I just want to share some more about animal cruelty and its links to child abuse in particular. So the Animal Legal Defense Fund has a really great article called "The Case for Tougher Animal Cruelty Laws." This was an action that they wanted supporters to take last year, and it describes the situation. I'll include this in the description as well, but I just want to go to this wonderful document hosted on the Humane Society of the United States website. And it's called "A Common Bond: Maltreated Children and Animals in the Home, Guidelines for Practice and Policy." And it was published by American Humane, and it just goes through, it's really comprehensive, and it details the link between child abuse and animal abuse. Going into here, there was a study done in 1983, right here, where a survey of pet-owning families with substantiated child abuse and neglect found that animals were abused in 88% of homes where child physical abuse was present. And it seems pretty obvious, but there's a correlation between animal abuse and child abuse. And child abuse is absolutely abhorrent. Animal abuse is absolutely terrible, and these two are linked together. Violent behavior towards others is something that is, quite common in our society, and something that we're slowly shifting away from. So right here, it says, what is the link? A correlation between animal abuse, family violence, and other forms of community violence has been established. So this link right here, which I'm also including in the description, goes down detailing, what's being done to curb violence in the household and violence against animals, what American Humane does to do this, and things we can do is obviously just practicing compassion, not being violent towards each other, not perpetuating violence in our house. And these things are essential for creating a more compassionate society. And when we have a society that's more compassionate towards children and those who are vulnerable, we are no doubt going to get a society that is more compassionate towards animals. So I strongly encourage you to check out these links. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. Do you believe that there is a link between child abuse and animal abuse? I'd love to hear your point of view. And just thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you would like, go onto my Twitter feed. It's at Hendrickson News. Follow me on Twitter. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Share this video. Let people know about this link between child abuse and animal abuse, because it's something that is going to be the downfall of our society. We can't get over our animalistic, violent tendencies. We're never going to reach a society that is free of this very correctable behavior, and we can reduce so much suffering just by not being violent towards each other. So that's my plea for compassion and nonviolence. I hope you enjoyed it, and sure, let me know what you thought about the Ohio judge too. If you think it was interesting, if you've heard of any other judges like that, share the articles in the comments. And thank you so much again for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day wherever you are, and stay tuned for more awesome videos.